everybody? We back with a whole new episode of Going Live with the MC. It's me, MC Reef. From here. We got a new guest today, and this guy's coming all the way from London. I feel like my last couple episodes have been with London guests. I've been trying to, open up the gap. Let everybody know that we not just local. We international with it. This next guest that I have, this is a dope producer from the UK that I've been blessed to meet. And we're just going to hop online. We're going to have a dope conversation, drop some gems. So tap in. If you guys have any questions, feel free to hit that question mark in the bottom right section. And me and 81 will answer all of your questions in a timely fashion. So let's do it without further ado. Give us a second. Hey,
Family,
what's up, my brother?
what's going on, brother?
Everything is good, man. Good to have you, man. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me, brother.
No doubt, no doubt. I see you got the merch on. Okay.
So you gotta let people know what's going on. You know what I mean? So even if they don't see the name somewhere sticking out, they can see the name.
I feel that. That's dope. That's dope. How you feeling today, man?
Been good, man. Been doing some running around, looking after the family, doing what you have to do on that front, as you should do
I feel that.
before you
I
can come
feel
and do
that.
what you need to do, So I make sure everyone's straight first and then
That's
I
a
jump.
fact. That's a fact. That's a fact.
Yeah, man. How
Yeah.
you
Everything is
been?
good on
How
this
you been?
side. I've been good, man. Honestly, just working on music. I'm getting the podcast back jumping.
Yeah.
It's been a while, because I had to fine tune the process. I've always had like good episodes, but it'd be like the inviting process when, because I don't just bring random people on here,
Okay.
so if I really find you interesting, I could know you for all my life, you know what I'm saying? But if I feel like you got something to share with the world, I'm throwing you on the podcast,
That's different.
so I be reaching out to people and I don't know if they like take it serious,
Okay.
so a lot of times they'll leave the message on red or like they'll be like, "Oh yeah, I got you. I'll get back to you with a date," and never hear from them again. And I don't like hunting people down. So
Yeah,
that's
I
just like,
understand that. When
yeah,
you're trying to do something and you're trying to make a way, like you don't
yeah,
need people. You like to be the energy to be reciprocated, right?
yeah. So I ask you one time, if you follow up with me, cool. But if you don't, I ain't following up.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, man, that's that. So yeah, here we are with another episode. Yeah. So first question:
Go for it.
how long have you been in the game as far as a producer?
I started making beats, whether they were good or not. Yeah. So I started making beats from the age of like, I want to say 21,
Okay.
22. My first
And what
program,
inspired it?
my first program was Cubase,
Okay.
and I was running that on an Atari 1040 ST. So there's a keyboard where it had a floppy disk. Cubase was on a
Right.
floppy disk,
That's
and you slotted that in. Yeah, you slotted that into the keyboard, and then my keyboard was the keyboard you type on because it was all one unit, right? So the floppy disk went into the keyboard. That plugs into your TV or whatever monitor you have. I had a TV, so I managed to get the connection to go into the back of the aerial spot from the TV, and
right.
that was coming through black and white. In black and white, bro. That's the color. There was none of this color doors. Like there were just two colors, gray and like a mono greeny gray. So one was dark and one was lighter, and that's about it, bro. You know what I mean? And that's that's how I started, man. Inspired me to start making beats. I used to DJ when I was younger, so I used to play at functions, weddings, and this was when I did this when I was like the sound system. The group that I had was called Phase 2. So my dad and my uncle had Phase 1 because they were older and they were sound boys, and then they kind of like said, we got all this kit, yeah, and they made their own speakers, and we had 1210 Technics and stuff like that, and Gemini mixer. So they was like, what do you want to do? So me and my cousin said, oh, we'll go and do it. So I was like 11 at the time when I started doing that, and then I stopped because you go through phases of doing stuff in life, trying to work out what you like and what you work with. But at that point, I used to like keeping the mixer right in the middle,
right?
Yeah, the fader in the middle. So therefore, I used to make mashups in it. So as you're mixing it, you're getting that BPM or that drum pattern playing with that vocalist, and I'm like, oh, that sounds even better than the original. So that kind of stuck with me. And then when I got to the point where I had the software, I started making beats because I realized, you know what, maybe that's what I'm trying to do on the decks. I'm trying to make my own beat with the fader, right? So yeah, that's where I started, man. It was the early days, so I don't know. I think it was Timbaland's first album, Bio in the Base. Was it Bio in the Basement? Yeah, that's when he's got all his. That's when he got Aaliyah, Genuine, Missy. That was his first album that came out. So all those are on it, supporting acts, featuring on his songs and stuff like that. And that when I heard that, that kind of blew my mind production wise. The first hip hop album I ever heard was Snoop Dogg's Doggy Style.
That's dope.
That's what got me into hip hop. But then when I heard By the Basement, I was like, oh snap, you can do something. You can go left. You don't have to be like West Coast gangster rap. There's people coming from this place called Virginia. They're making this sound. And then I realized that Timbaland was like a protege of Devontae Swing at the time. The whole Jodeci camp, I used to listen to a lot of Jodeci. I'm an 80s baby, 81 baby. So at the time, playing on my mum would be playing in the house or playing on the radio. Local stations would be like H-Town, Jodeci, SWV, Keith Sweat. So all that kind of era, New Jack Swing vibe and all that. And I just I started messing around, and before I knew it, I started making beats. I don't think they're probably trash, you know what I mean? When I look back on them now, I think, some of them had a vibe. Some of them definitely had a vibe. I can remember a couple tracks that I can definitely say had a vibe. But it was literally, like I said, Cubase running through your TV, and the TV was a bit faulty, so sometimes I had to bang it just to get a picture, to smack it.
Yeah, I already know them days.
Right? This is before flat screens, when TVs had the tube in it. Yeah.
Right.
You had to bang it. If it started whistling, you bang it, and it stopped whistling. And then my mouse had a short in it, so I had to wrap the mouse cord around itself and kind of roll it on my hand, because it was a rollerball. It was a rollerball in the mouse, and roll it on my hand, and then try and. Well, I don't know how I managed to make beats on that, but I did. I made a beat tape. I remember that. I made a beat tape. And then I used to do a little bit of rapping as well at the same time.
Oh, nice.
I was so heavily into this music making and creation. I used to Straight Outta Compton, when you see Dre lying on the floor and he's listening to the music. He's saying that he'll close his eyes and then he'll just try and break apart what he's listening to and analyze it.
Right.
So I used to do that. I used to do stuff like that, and then I was trying to, get that same vibe, and then started rapping, but didn't have the equipment. So my mum bought me an Iowa stereo, which had a plastic 7-inch turntable on the top. And I plugged the mic into it, a cheap mic, terrible mic. Every time you even touched the mic would make poof. It was just plastic. The whole mic was just garbage. But I used to bounce tape to tape. So if you know how that goes, I used to get the 7-inch, record the instrumental down onto the tape, take that tape out, put it in the other side, press play on the instrumental that I've just recorded, put another blank tape in it, and then start putting my chorus. Once I've got my chorus, I take the tape out, move it onto the other side, and then bounce and layer it until I've got a song, which I've bounced tape to tape.
That's dope.
it started from those early days, man. It started from those early days. A lot of a lot of hit and misses, bro. I'll tell you that much.
Nah, that's dope. So you said you used to DJ. Was that
Yeah,
before producing?
that was before producing. That was a little,
So,
yeah. That was before producing.
so how old were you when you were doing that? And
I was
second
go for it.
second part to that, you said that Doggy Style was the first album that you heard that got you into hip hop. So like, what was your sound? Like, what were you into before hip hop?
Okay, so first part of that, I was 10, 11 years old when I was DJing. I couldn't even see the decks, so I had to stand on a milk crate because I was too short.
And you was actually at parties and stuff, like
My
putting stuff
dad, my
together?
dad and my uncle used to drive the van with the equipment in it, and they would take us to the event. Then my cousin, he's about 5 years older than me at the time. Well, he's still 5 years older. He's still, and he would grab the mic and he would be what's up? Like, he'd be the MC. No rapping, but just like trying to keep the party going, like, you know what I mean?
Right.
And then I'll be behind sitting on, well, I'll be standing on a milk crate because I couldn't get the way the tables were set up. It was too high. So I had to stand on a milk crate and I'd be mixing.
Mm-hmm.
And we played at functions and we played
That's
at a high school.
tough.
A high school, but the police shut the high school down. They shut the night. The fire brigade came and shut it down because they said people were trying to break into this. There was too many people in the dance, and they were trying to break in, get in. So the fire brigade shut it down. But yeah,
Wow.
that was crazy. And then the second part to that question, before Doggy Style, I grew up on, as my dad was a very eclectic guy, and my mum was an eclectic woman when it came to music. So in my house, in the morning, my dad would turn on his amp and you would hear boo, like a test sound, and then you'll hear Miles, like Jazz FM start playing in the morning. And then it's on the weekend, so by 10, 11 o'clock, he's got some Frankie Beverly and Mays playing. And by 12, by lunchtime, 2, 3, he's got some James Brown playing. And he might slip in a bit of Miles Davis. And then after that, he'll bring it down to like Earth, Wind and Fire, and then or Teddy Pendergrass, or Barry White, or Shaka Khan. Depending on what time of the day is the kind of songs he would play. You know what I mean? So come near the end of the day, you would have some more sweet boy music, as we call it. You know what I mean? A lot of Luther Vandross will be coming in the evening, but in the start of the day, you got the horns blowing, you got Jazz FM, you got Miles Davis, you got Kirk, you got Johnny Coltrane, you got B.B. King playing, you got all that stuff coming. So my head is very eclectic when it comes to the music, man.
Yeah, I feel that. I heard you, by the way, nice and clear, but your video is starting to cut out a little. Yeah. But anyways, yeah, no, that's actually dope, man. Damn, I can imagine 10 years old and you like running functions.
Yeah,
That's dope, man.
basically, bro.
So,
Yeah, we used to make a little pocket money off that.
so
To make a little pocket money.
like, did you completely stop DJing to produce, or like?
Yeah, I just completely stopped.
Damn, because I'm
There
saying it
was
sounded like you was really good at it.
an unfortunate series of events. Sounds like Limity Snickets there. There was a series of unfortunate events that transpired that led us to no longer being able to do the DJing. But it's something that my wife often tells me. She's like, man, you should just get Serato or something like that, and one of those, get some of them, the DJ, how they do it now with the I forgot what they bloody called. Like, I think Pioneer has some. They're not turntables, but they look like, the ones they got now, the digital ones, and give it a go.
The vinyl joints.
I'm like,
You want to like? Are you more of a vinyl or like?
I started and stopped on 1210 on Technics. You know what I mean? On technique.
Got you. Because I met a popular DJ out in London. I've been trying to get him. See, he's one of the people I invited online as well too to talk about his stuff. But yeah, he's more like a vinyl based DJ. So he plays off the vinyls and stuff, and he makes that a big deal. It's almost like how I make a big deal of artists performing with their vocals.
Yeah,
he doesn't like he doesn't like DJs that mix with the digital shit. Like he just doesn't like it.
You just tap.
Yeah.
But don't get me wrong. I know a DJ. I know a few DJs that are they. It's not so much about the equipment. It's the set, the sound, the set, the selection of music that they bring to the events. And these guys, they you know, it's a whole different generation of music from when I was playing. I was playing music from back in the 90s. You know what I mean? I was mixing everything that was flavor in your ear and all that stuff, and you know, songs that I probably shouldn't have known because I was too young, but I knew music, right? I knew music. I used to go to the record shop in Notting Hill Gate with my uncle, and we would stand there and we would look for songs, and I'll be putting him on because I'm like, nah, you listen to this, and then we can mix this with this, and so I had my little stack of wax that was mine. I used to go and buy my stuff, but that's the thing. Like, if I was to go and start mixing again, I think I would have to. You'd have to have such a big selection nowadays, like because of the digital content and how it's available and the way music's consumed. Like, something that you would play like a half an hour set nowadays. When I was younger, a half an hour set now would probably really only last for 10 minutes because the way that the people go through music, you only get like 30 seconds of each song, and you're on to the next one, and then tap 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 tap, beat tempo, next song, beat tempo, next song. So you don't even get to hang around on that song too much. You know what I mean? So it's something that maybe if I had enough space, it's something I would probably do as therapy for myself, as enjoyment, just for creativity and inspiration. You know what I mean? Because when you're cutting those two songs together and you're mixing a little different vibe, you might sonically hear something. You're like, oh snap! I need to capture that and expand on that. You know what I mean? So.
Nah, that's dope. Yeah, man. That's still interesting, man. You was, but I mean, I never actually heard of anyone that just kind of like stop one thing and then go to the next one. You know, so what was that transition like for you? Like, was it easy for you to, like, I guess, rebrand yourself, so to speak? Like, because everyone knew you as a DJ. So like,
Yeah.
how was it like just be like, yo, I make beats now, like, you know?
Yeah. It wasn't that hard. I don't know when it was funny because when I stopped DJing, I then as a young age, I was like still in primary school. I was still in like lower school. Like I'm 10 years old. You know what I mean? So time I got to secondary school, I'm playing ball heavy now, innit? I'm playing basketball every lunchtime. I'm playing for the school team. I'm starting five. I'm point guard. Like I'm actually training the girls as well to play basketball. I'm coaching the girls, so I'm all in on basketball now. I'm not even about music no more. I like music. I know, I've got this thing for music, but I'm all in on basketball. And then I think in the second to last year, one friend I used to know came up to me on the court and got in the middle of like lunchtime, and he says, "I heard you can dance." And I looked at, I ain't never seen this guy. I've seen him through the school, but he never really spoke because I play basketball and you don't come on the court, so I don't know who you are. You know what I mean? Like, so I was like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Somebody told me that you can dance," and I was like, "I wonder if I don't know who told him that, but apparently somebody told him." And I was like, "Well," he goes, "Oh, look, I'm trying to put this group together. Give me one afternoon after school to talk to you and show you what I've got planned. If you don't like it, forget it." All right, cool. So when I was younger, one of my the uncle that I used to go and play music with in the sound system, he's a big Michael Jackson fan. Big Michael Jackson fan. Yeah, I mean, the guy had every concert from Tokyo to every other country. He had it on VHS. So when I used to go and stay by my uncle's house, and the day, like, morning television cartoons are finished, like, I'm not watching. English TV is different. In the morning, after you finish watch cartoons in the morning, after like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, it's just old people TV, right? And it's people cooking, people talking about the food they're eating is just trash, yeah? So I used to just go and take his tapes and put them in. And he introduced me to Michael Jackson now. So I'm like, who's this guy? I'm bad all over the world, and these people are fainting over him and screaming. And then I got captured by his performance. So now I used to copy the routines, basically. I used to copy the routines, move for move. So I used to go to family functions and they'd be like, okay, dancing time, dancing company. And I'm all there flicking, doing the fingers, doing all of that, doing all of this. Yeah, I'm doing it all. Yeah, I'm doing it all, bro. And then that just stuck with me. So when I got on the basketball court and this guy's come up to me saying, I know you can dance, I'm thinking, he ain't been to none of my functions. So he said, show me what you like. I went and met him after school one time at a youth center, a local community hall. And he's like, yeah, this is what I've got planned. I want to make a group, trio of boys that dance street dancing. And my sister, he told me my big sister is already in a dance collective and they get auditions and they go for shows and video shoots and they get paid. So I was like, right, bet. You know what I mean? We're in the ghetto, innit? I like, there's not much you can do but shoot, play ball, get good grades, or find a hustle. Yeah, it's only three things. Yeah, when you're that age coming up, I'm not even thinking about the streets yet. So I showed him what I could do. So he put on some music, and I showed him what I could do. And one of my things was like, Michael Jackson's got two moonwalks, right? He has the one where he goes backwards, like normal, and he's got the one where he slides like sideways. He's facing you, but you move sideways. So, you do like. So how many kids doing it now? So I showed him that, and the guy was like, "Oh, all right, yeah." So I joined that collective from the age of about 15 to 21, and I 16, 17 when I left school to about 20, it's about 20 years old, 19 years old, and during that time we used to just rehearse, go down to different auditions, and get gigs. You know what I mean? Like really, like perform around the UK and go on UK regional tours and stuff like that. Do video shoots and stuff like that. And that was cool until it got a bit political. That's at one point. But at the same time, I realized that as it was getting a bit political, I realized that something inside me said, you can do more than what you're doing. Instead of being the guy behind the guy, which is cool, because I'm not really down for being the guy. I don't want to be that guy that everyone knows. I'd rather just be the, my name, in the right circles, you know who I am. Everybody knows, anybody that needs to know who I am knows who I am. I've seen how popularity and fame can turn people mad. Yeah, I've seen it. So we've gone through our whole auditions. We've gone through supporting people to get record deals at Sony. I've done all the whole secret parties that only people in the industry should go to. I'm 15 years old. I'm 17, 18 years old, and I'm going to parties they've got big grown ass people there. I have no business being this guy, me and my two other guys from the hood, and we're in these places that we look like we're from the hood, and we're in these places that we have no business being. But it's when you're in that life, you get to go certain places. Like it's like you get a text and you get a text and they tell you, you get a text and they tell you, the car's outside. Tell him to drive you to this place. When you get there, knock on the door 5 times. You get in the car. It
was like that.
Picked up by a Mercedes. Yeah, that's the kind of vibe. We're getting picked up by Mercedes, driven down to Oxford Street, down a back alley in the city of, West End, knocking on a black door, open it, all you're hearing is woo, music pumping, go in there, industry. And when we walk in there, there's people that you see on TV. Oh, heard all about you guys. You guys are wonderful. Bro, I'm a young guy.
Just a regular day in the life.
I'm a young guy dancing with big grown women. You know what I'm saying?
That's wild.
I mean, yeah. I understand how people got lost, bro. I understand how people got lost in the source and how these guys got lost. That's interesting. There's no... They always think is if you're in the room, then you're supposed to be in the room. Then they don't ask you no questions. They don't ask you no questions. But we never went that far, luckily. So by the time I realized that I got more to give and things started getting political, it was about a time where we had an audition for Janet Jackson. It was for the Velvet Rope tour. And we had Michael Jackson's choreographer's phone number in our phone. What's his name? Lavelle. And he was like, I've heard about you guys, boom, 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 through the grapevine. I want you to come and audition. But at the time, the politicalness that was happening made me think like I don't want to do this no more, because if I don't stand for something, then you're gonna fall for anything. You know what I mean?
Facts.
So I call it a day. I said I'm out. You know what I mean? And when I made that call, people thought I was on crack, because they're like, you're just, Janet Jackson is literally there. We didn't take it up, or we didn't do the audition. I come to find out that certain things were going on, transpiring around me within the clique, which is a good reason why I saw somebody else take my spot within 2 days. Saw them on television, and nobody told me nothing. So I was like, all right, it makes sense why I never followed. You know what I mean? Because people were already trying to move into my spot, and people were letting it happen. So I was like, I can't really mess with that. That means you can't trust. If you can't trust the people you come up from the gutter with, then
That's a
you know what I mean?
fact. That's a fact.
And you're gonna go into the industry where they're gonna wave bags of money at you. You know what I mean? So we never took that gig, and then what do they call them? The two French dancers, the two dancers from France, the twins, the Les Twins, the ones that do all that. They do the slow. You might see them on. They ended up getting the spot. You know what I mean? So after that, I started making music.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Give me a second.
After that, I fully started making music. I said I'm gonna do something that I want to do for me. And then I started making my beats, bro.
That's an interesting transition, man. Thanks for sharing that, by the way, too.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a bit of a long story, and like one day, when we hook up, I'll explain the ins and outs of what actually transpired, which led me to have to make that decision at that time. But it was a decision that I knew if I didn't stand on my morals or my principles at that time, then I didn't even want to look at myself in the mirror. You know what I mean?
I feel that. And I mean, it's just crazy, how the industry is the way it is. I don't agree. I don't agree with a lot of it. I mean, and then I feel like that's why we connect on a lot of
Yeah,
levels, because of that. And truthfully, I haven't experienced that much in the industry, but I've experienced enough.
yeah,
I feel
yeah,
like it was the right things that I've experienced.
yeah,
Like I got to experience putting money down to open up for an artist, which you shouldn't even have to pay for, by the way. But yeah, I paid money to open up for artists, got scammed.
Oh, bro, I'll give you a story. We got scammed. Yeah, we got scammed when we was dancing. We went on a UK tour for this artist named Glamour Kid in the UK. He was like a dancehall artist. Yeah. And he was popping off at the time. So we've gone all around Manchester, Birmingham, Liverpool, Oxford, Wolverhampton. We're doing the whole like university tour thing. Yeah, like you guys do the college run or the university run to build up momentum and the following. We did all of that. Yeah, I was on tour with Rashawn Patterson. That was the same tour that Rashawn Patterson was on. And he sings like neo soul now. But that's, you know what I mean. And by the time we finished that, our last show was in Leicester Square in a club called Equinox. Was it Equinox? Yeah. And it was their 25th birthday. And at the time, I think Choice FM was the Hot 97 of the UK. Yeah. They get everybody over. This is like the only other person that was running the show was Tim Westwood, but he was like a one guy. But Choice FM was the place that was like Hot 97. Everybody came through. They had a bash. Glamour Kid was performing there. Destiny's Child was there. Yeah. So that's the first Destiny's Child. Kelly, Beyonce, LaToya, and the other one. There was, the original four, Bugaboo days, yeah, Bills, them days. So we're standing backstage, chatting to Beyonce, chatting to Kelly Rowland, chatting to these yeah.
Right.
It was just like they were cool, they were super cool, super friendly. I was like, that was sweet. When we finished that performance and we were waiting for payment, the manager of Glamour Kid gave us a bag of clothes from a couture store. Yeah, one bag. Yeah, in that bag had a t-shirt, a jeans, an iceberg t-shirt, a Moschino waistcoat, and a pair of I think Valentino jeans. And he said, "That's for you free." I said, "What?" I was like, "Where's the other bags?" He's like, I said, and we're like, where's our money? He's like, yeah, that's your payment. We went on tour for 3 months and danced.
And they gave you an outfit
behind his act at every show, and we used to go on, perform behind the artist, and then afterwards we used to go and do our own segment because we used to do skits and stage performance and theatrics and stuff like that. Like we put on a whole skit, you know what I mean? And that's what got us, because when we first did our first gig that caused the stir, we did it and we met Usher. This is when Usher was doing You Remind Me? No. What's the one where he has the diamond U chain? What era was that?
You got it bad?
It might have been around then.
Yeah.
And he had the he had the diamond trainers as well, like the kicks with the diamonds in it. So that era.
That's yeah.
So maybe just before he dropped, he's come around and he's running that circuit, And so we did that show, and he was due to come on after us. And then it was like, obviously we did a performance, everybody, that was our spot. That was our spot. Every so often everybody knew that we were going to perform. If you saw the stage go dark, you knew we were coming out. It was like, what's the film? Step Up, or one of them films that you just see. We just came out of the crowd, go on the stage and start performing, and then tear it up. Going upstairs, Usher's like, did you lot just do that? Was that you lot getting noise down there like that? And he was like, yeah. And he's like, man, you lot are crazy. Like, he's all got, he had the beanie bald cap when he was on his, he had that, that kind of ball cap, skull cap that he used to wear with the oversized shirts. That was that. Swinging his chain around his neck when he was good though. He was good. But he was a cool guy as well when we met him. But that was all of that, bro. But through all of that time, one thing I learned is that people can change. You know what I mean? A little bit of attention, a little bit of stardom and fame can change people. You know what I mean? A little bit.
That's a fact.
So that was an interesting part of my life. But the transition wasn't. I think it was a natural progression, to be honest. I thought I just got to a point where I realized you can do more than what you've been doing.
Right. I feel that.
So I bet on myself and rolled the dice.
I feel that. Yeah, so definitely it's a lot of craziness that goes on. So what would you say is your greatest accomplishment as a producer? Like, is there any like big name that you've worked with, or even if it's not a big name like media wise, but like just someone that that you've watched grow and turn into something?
The biggest achievement that I've done, because I've worked with a lot of artists that are they're up and coming at the time, and then they stop coming up and then they fall off and then nobody hears them. You know what I mean? Like they're talented, have potential, but they're not consistent. So then it doesn't mean nothing in the end. It's like basketball, right? You could be the best point guard and you could be given the best passes in the world, clear, open, behind the back, but unless that guy finishes the shot, you don't get the assist.
Exactly.
So that's been my story, right? I've been working with good people in good situations, talented people and talented, but they just don't finish the layup. They just don't finish the shot. You know what I mean? They ain't been in the gym enough to finish what they got to do.
But how does that fall back on you though?
Frustrating as a motherfucker.
No, but I'm saying how does that affect you?
It can discourage you from doing what you're doing. It can discourage you because at some point you have to you kind of start at one point I started second guessing myself, like, so how come I'm doing all these things with these people and no one seems to be following through? You know what I mean? That is it that my shit ain't good?
Understood.
You know what I'm saying?
So basically you base their success on your success?
At one point I was. Not until I got to a point of not giving a fuck. You know what I mean? Pardon my language. I got to a point of not caring. I kind of, like, when I started out rapping and I realized what I could do, I kind of put on my Kanye hat in his early days, right? I can rap, I can make beats. I used to dance, I used to DJ. So what can you really tell me? So now I realize that you attract what you the energy you put out. So if you think and if you move and you start thinking like you're mediocre, that's what you're gonna get, right? That's basically what you're gonna get. But my greatest accomplishment was to just stick to my craft. Because I don't think if I didn't stick to my craft with the same conviction I have been for the last 10 years, I would have never got half the things I've done. I wouldn't have got TV placements, or for advertising campaign over Christmas a couple, I think that was a year or two ago. I wouldn't be getting the paid jobs that I'm getting now. I wouldn't be in touch with the people that I am now. I wouldn't have the opportunities that I've got coming towards me. I don't like to speak too much on them before they actually manifest, because I feel like you end up robbing yourself of the blessing. But I can genuinely say that I've got things in the pipeline that if I didn't put my Dame Dash hat on and be kind of cocky, arrogant, and believe in yourself, F what everyone else thinks, then I probably wouldn't be where I am, bro. I wouldn't be attracting like the likes of people like you. I wouldn't be attracting people all over the world that I'm attracting now. You know what I mean? That people actually want to hear what I'm doing, or they want to hear my story, or they just want to support.
Nah, real talk. Real talk. That's real. Shout out to Luke Eventide. He's another producer. He just joined in. He's actually one of my closest homies out there in the UK for sure. So yeah, no. I think that's pretty dope. And it's funny how he tuned in after you told that story. I wish he heard what you just said. But he knows the deal already, as far as like staying committed. He's really talented. Very, very, very talented. So I think you guys should definitely connect and, chop it up as well too.
I'm not
Both in
one
the
of them
UK. So.
that you can't contact. That's the thing. I'm not. Yes, mate. Yeah, brother. How you doing, Luke? I'm not one of them people that is offish. I'm standoffish. You know what I mean? All I ask is that people be as serious as I am. You know what I mean? If I can commit to this for the last 20 years, and I don't even see it as I'm going to be doing this until I'm 60, 70 years old, bro. You're going to put me in the grave with my door, like, and my beat tapes and an MPC so I can bang on. Like, there's nothing going to change. And I think I had to learn that and look back and think, what has my journey been? I've always been involved in music from the start. From 10 years old, from my dad used to play music at the house, from the music I used to listen to, grow up listening to being a DJ, to being a street dancer. Now and then eventually, like, I've just seen the evolution of myself. You know what I mean? It's gone from listening to expressing yourself through the medium of dance, then to rapping and making, then going to Norway for a summer jam because I made a beat tape and I performed on it with a couple other guys, and somebody picked it up and said, come to Norway, we want you to perform. Went to Norway, performed with a couple other acts under Def Jam at the time, because Def Jam don't exist no more, I don't think. But they were signed to Def Jam on the management deal, A&R deal. And we tore the shit down. And then I realized, like, yo, you made a beat tape that the beats on this beat, on the beats that you're performing are the beats that you made, that you're rapping over, that people are going crazy over. You know what I mean? So that's every time I did something and changed my medium, I got confirmation that I'm going the right way. So
that's dope. That's actually dope. And I feel like a lot of creatives miss that. Like one thing for example, in my world, I've witnessed artists put on a really, really, really dope performance, right? They go on, like, after their performance, they're like, yeah, follow me on Instagram.
Oh,
they get off the stage and then they boom, jet straight back to where they came from. Don't say nothing to nobody.
No mixing, not reaching out, nothing.
Yeah, and I'm just like, yo, like, there's no way that y'all could just sleep on yourselves like this, like.
You know why? And I made this realization the other day. There's a generation of people that believe that as an artist, all you have to do is make a track, shoot a video, and that will be enough to get you through. There's a generation that was born, or they got on from, I call it the YouTube Bieber day. Yeah. So when Bieber got signed and Usher found him off YouTube, right? Anything before that, you had to go out on foot like you do, meet the people, shake their hands, kiss the babies, hand out the CDs, hand out the flyers. This is what you have to be present. Like, that was after YouTube came about, that stopped. Yeah. Now we're about to go back to that because the industry is imploding. So people have to start making a fan base again for themselves. And the only way you can truly make a fan base is if you're truly accessible, and you're an artist that would creative producer, whoever you are, you have to be able to shake the hands, kiss the babies. You have to come off the stage and mingle with the people, and give them something, give them a connection, give them a real something they can feel, because that's what it's about. If you can feel like I know Creef, yeah, me and him he's a cool dude. I listened to his music, I went to his show, he came down, we took pictures, we had 2 drinks. Yo, this is the truth, right? He's the truth. So now he's gonna put you on to his other people, and that's what it's gonna come down to right now, because you need to go direct to consumer or custom right now. That's what you need to do. You need to grab up all those email addresses, yeah, and that's how you have to start rolling.
That's a fact. Yeah. Yeah. It's just insane. You know how. Well, honestly, if I could really credit it to, like, if we could just put it all under one umbrella, it's just the aspect of doing the work. You know, and to be honest with you, I wouldn't even say it's the Bieber era, because yeah, I agree with you 100%. Yes, it blew up from there. Yes, but
That spawned a lot of people's ideals of how to become successful.
It's a media perspective thing. You get what I'm saying? It's like, so Bieber might have blown up off of those videos, but you don't know what he was doing behind the scenes. You get what I'm saying? So when people see it, they're just like, oh, he's singing on YouTube.
So that's my whole point. People they don't think about what he's done. They're just seeing that, oh snap, he was on YouTube, he got 1 million views, and now he's signed. Oh, that must be the way to do it.
Right. You're right, 100%. It's just wild, you know. And also another thing is too, you mentioned the industry is imploding, and we have to go back to direct to consumer, which we'll get into actually. So last year, around this time, December-ish, you know, I made the decision to release my album off the DSPs. I didn't, at this time I was still on DSPs or whatever, but this album, I didn't put it on there. I just had like that crazy moment, you know, I guess there was like a certain epiphany I had, or like I had a series of events where, like you said, it was just a confirmation that I was on the right path. You know, I had like a series of those, and I was just like, you know what? I got an actual fan base. Let's actually try this, you know, like, let's actually do this. Yeah, so, and it's like, mind you, at the same time of saying that, I didn't even know who my fan base was. I just knew that I had a lot of people that told me they like my music, you know, personally, you know, come up to me, or they'll send me a message, you know, like, oh, I'll go like, it went from me like freezing up at shows to like not remember my lyrics and stuff like that, to now I'm coming to shows and people are singing the lyrics, you know, so now I'm like stuck looking at them like, oh, you know the lyrics? Wow, like, yeah, like, you know, so I was like, you know what? All right, cool. So if we at that level, I could definitely, you know, drop this like that. And the point in case that I'm getting to is that it took a lot of work just to get those sales. And I think that when I made the decision to take them completely off of DSPs, I got a whole bunch of backlash. Like, there was a lot of people just like talking about, oh, well, no one's going to discover you now, or how are you going to do this, or like, you know, and I'm explaining to them like, yo, you have to be marketable, like, you know, and it's not like a lot of people hear marketable and they're like, oh, I got to sell this, or I got to buy that, and it's like, not necessarily. You know what I'm saying? It's just like what you said, is shaking the hands, kissing the babies, literally just like that. You had a show, and I learned this because I was going to concerts, and not just like a regular concert going. I'm doing the meet and greets, you know, if there's an all access pass, I'm getting those. But I'm not going to, like, you know, the huge, you know, Beyonce's and Jay-Z concerts.
Those kind of things, yeah.
Right, you know, so I'm like, I'm into the independent, you know, music world. So so if I find like Chris Rivers, or if I find like, you know, Rhapsody, or you know, Tech Nine, or somebody like that, if I find them performing in concert and they got some good, affordable, all access tickets, I'm going for it. $200 on an all access pass, can't beat that. You know, that, well, I think the most I paid was 200. That was to meet Tech Nine, but I got to meet him and everybody on tour, and I got a big ass box of merch. Like, it came with mad shit, like a license plate, a blanket, mad shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? But so, and that's the that's the dopeness of messing with independent artists as
You get
well. You know what I'm saying? Because they have
to
more to
feel
offer.
valued. You get to
A
feel
hundred
valued.
percent. 100%. So I remember I was chilling backstage with I went to a Token tour. This was his first tour, the Between Somewhere tour. He did it at SOB's. And I joined the cipher and I met, well, it's crazy. Chris Rivers walks in after the cipher was done. Oswald Benjamin was on stage rehearsing. And then when we went backstage, they came downstairs. Sway in the morning, he came through. He was downstairs. I met Jack Thriller. It was just a bunch of people there, and what stood out most was that there was just a handful of us, like, people that bought the all access
Yeah, yeah,
pass, and we were just down there, like, just observing the moment. And, it's just to see them, like, having that connection with each other. Like, a lot of these artists, like, worked together in the past that we may not have known that they had this connection.
this is it. This is it.
Right. We start seeing the fans. Some of the fans know this. They know Token personally. Like they're like, "Yo, remember we was in high school?" He's like really reliving the moment with them, and I'm just like, "Yo, this is so dope." So it just started putting me in that mode to where it's like, yeah, nah, I gotta network with people. I gotta really start like talking and it's not even just talking, just being a good person. You know what I'm saying? Like being
Yeah,
true to who
just
you
be
are.
who you are.
Because
Just be who you are. Yeah.
imagine, because I imagine the whole fame thing. I imagine fame where it's like you step outside. Actually, I was watching a video with Shaquille O'Neal,
Yeah.
and I don't remember where he was walking around at, but he was in like it was some quiet part of the city. I don't know. But the theme of the video was to see how long he can go without being noticed.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. He did one in London as well. I saw that.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So in this particular video, the dude noticed him automatically. He was like, "Yo, what up, Shaq?" And he was just like,
Oh
"Okay." So
yeah.
in my mind, I'm thinking, dude, like you're like 7 foot tall. Like,
Who's
there's
not
only
gonna
so many
know it's
places you can
you,
hide.
right?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. But at the same time, it's also interesting because being in New York, there's so many celebrities around us. And a lot of times I be walking right past them and don't even realize it. Like
Yeah,
I've seen
yeah,
mad
yeah.
people. Like I've seen Ice-T at the red light in in Times Square. He's in his Range Rover, and I'm just looking at the car like, yo, that's nice. And then I look at the
You're
driver,
like,
I'm like,
oh,
oh,
that's
like,
ice.
so it's like, yeah, it's stuff like that. You get what I'm saying? Like I see it every day. And it's like they they don't really they don't really appreciate the whole essence of being personable. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? So when
yeah,
people approach them or whatever, it's because they have people marketing them. So
yeah. So
they're not exactly like
they
for
don't have to
real.
worry about being
Yeah,
approachable
they're not.
because you
Yeah,
could like me
they're not
from off the
exactly
work
for
my
real.
people do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right. And to them, it's annoying. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
because they
yeah.
didn't exactly earn it. They didn't build that. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a matter of people not wanting to do that work to get to that level.
But you
You
have
know,
to.
they
But you have to. You have to be approachable, man. You have to be a connector. You got to be as an artist. I think the most important, most powerful thing you can be is relatable,
100%.
and a part of that is being human.
I was having a conversation with another artist, I believe yesterday, and I was asking him, why why do you feel the need to like perform certain songs? And he was basically saying, shout out to B Fortune, Steph Tex for joining in. If you guys have any questions, feel free to hit that question mark at the bottom. Um, yeah, so as I was saying, this artist in particular, he was basically arguing over the fact that he had to keep creating music to appease the crowd. And I was like, no, dude, like, and I like to use myself as an example a lot because I don't know too many other people, and I don't like to speak on other people, so I'll usually say something along the lines like, like I make the music that I want
Yeah,
to make. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like I had no idea. Like right now, one of people's favorite song is Next Time. It's a song about my
yeah.
breakups. But like when I perform it at shows, people sing it with me. You know what I'm saying? Like stuff like that. So it's like I didn't know make it like actually I was afraid to release that song. Not really afraid, but I was like really
Was being
cautious, like
vulnerable,
damn.
but you was being
Yeah,
vulnerable. That's why you were scared to really
right.
release it, right?
come to find out, a lot of people like it, you know.
Because a
So
lot
it's like,
of
why?
people are vulnerable. That's why.
Right, you know what I'm saying? So it's like I basically was telling him like, you know, like if I could do it, you could do it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, you know, there was another artist who was scared to perform live without their vocals, you know, and I kind of like swindled them into doing it. And you know, when they got the reaction that they didn't think they would get, they was like, you know what?
I should do this more
I could
often.
do this now.
Yeah.
Right. And it was just like, you see, like it's easy, you know what I'm saying? Just
And
let yourself out, you know what I'm saying?
the
Just
same
put in the
thing.
work.
I could actually lend that to like me doing production. It's because when I first started out, a lot of it was obviously my early days was trying to emulate what I listened to, and then I got to a stage when I kind of got onto this BeatStars thing, and when I got onto that, it was very much a lot of making what people like instead of what you like. And you only have to see the difference is when you start making what people like and you don't do what you like, after a while you run out of ideas when you start making what people like. Because you're waiting for either one validation or you're waiting for someone else to do something that becomes popular so you can copy them.
100%. You know, and I actually
Something.
had a situation like that. Like when I first started making music, the producer that I was rocking with, you know, he was from the Netherlands, by the way. You
Okay.
know, so yeah, he came out to the States, and you know, throughout my high school years, when I was like just starting to rap or whatever, he was encouraging me to like keep it going. You know, so when I finally when I made my first album, Volume One, Unexpected One, he produced that. So that's him in the background. Like when you listen to the album and you hear somebody screaming it, that's him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But he produced all those
That's
beats.
dope.
So when it came to working on Volume Two, I had to go to YouTube, you know, because I didn't have the money to pay
Yeah.
producers. I didn't even
Yeah.
know that many producers at the
Yeah.
time. You know, so and you know, this is just how much I networked, you know what I'm saying? I didn't even know producers. Like so I had to go to YouTube, download whatever beats or whatever. But the story behind that was because at the time when I was like, because at this time I'm already figuring out my style. I already know how to, you know, make better music now. So I was like, okay, let's go for round two. And he's like, he's caught up. This is around the time where you know Chief Keef came out.
Yeah.
So you know, yeah, a lot of drill, trap music, stuff like that. And that's the sound that he chose to stick on. Like he went from being versatile, knowing how to make any type of beat, to just sticking to this one sound. And you know, like we just pretty much parted ways. You know what I'm saying? Because you know, I just felt like it wasn't on my wave.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I'll
Yeah.
like yeah, it's like he just at this point he didn't care anymore to like venture into any
No,
other
because
style. Like
he
it was just like
just wanted to make money now.
right, and that's what it
Yeah.
was. He was making money from this style. Like people, like it was. I can't tell you how many times, like you know, we didn't went to go. You know, we were supposed to hang out, or he was supposed to go to a show of mine or something like that. And he'd be like, "Nah, I gotta make this beat for this producer. He gave me $2,000," and I'm like, "All right, you know, go get your money." But like, you know, so but now look at it. You know, he doesn't produce at all anymore. Like
Wow.
it's done. No, he's done. Like, so when I asked him, you know, why don't you do it anymore? He was like, oh, yeah, it's just not my thing. I don't like, he tried to cover it up with that. But I know,
He killed the flame inside him by making beats that other people wanted. That's what he did.
right,
That's what he
exactly.
did.
So, yeah, like, I definitely laugh at it, you know, and it's just like, yeah, I can't do that. It's even the
No.
same thing with artists, too. I know a lot of artists who are just making music just to make it because that's what people like. And now they don't make music anymore. They just,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, they don't promote themselves anymore. They don't do any of that. So it's just like, yeah, I'd say stay authentic, stay, you know, be you,
Stay in
you
your lane.
know, tell your
Stay in your
truth.
pocket.
Yeah, 100%, you know, and it's just much easier that way. At least for me, at least I find it a lot easier that way, you know, like I make a lot more connections just
Being
being real.
being
So,
real. Yeah. Because I realized
right.
that when you put out the energy that you are, you attract your tribe, right? So you don't have to worry about am I gonna have are there people like there's 7 billion plus people on the planet. Some of them are gonna like
Mhm.
you, you know what I mean? Some of them are not gonna like you. And that's just the way it is.
Right, right.
Same way you went through your process with your albums is like similar way that I went through my process with my 5 beat tapes. Is that it was like starting off very trappish because that's what was going on, and then slowly I started to incorporate my own flavor. And then
Mm.
by the time I got to like 4 or 5, I'm doing my own. I'm really starting to do my own thing now. You know what I mean? Like I've already kind of figured out what my style is, what my sound is, and I know I got my identity. So then I was able to give myself the name. Yeah, this is when the time 81 Born and Bred came about. Because before that, I used to call myself SIMO. It was an acronym for basically style is my own. All right. So SIMO, SIMO, style is my own.
That's
And
dope.
it was dope, but it didn't. To me, it didn't have long. It didn't feel like
It
something
didn't have a ring to it.
Yeah, it didn't have the longevity of. I felt like I'd have to change that name again in like 3 years.
I feel
Something that spoke to me in my ear, like you need something that it really encapsulated who you are and what you do.
Right.
And 81 Born and Bred was perfect because that's when I was born and made. So there ain't nothing going to change about that. I'm still going to be an 81 baby. You know what I mean? So, and once I found that and I solidified myself and I found that and I rooted myself in that, then everything else just started to happen. Everything creatively started to come my way. Because now I can dig in the crates from the music I grew up listening to in the 80s that influenced me to make music. You know what I mean? I can bring all the old school stuff back. You know what I mean? So when they say, "Oh, your music sounds like this and it's got soulful, but it's got this R&B, bam, 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 bam," yeah, because I'm an 80s baby. Makes sense now, don't it?
Right.
Oh yeah. And then I tell you my story, and then you're like, oh, now it's all coming together now. You know what I mean? So it's a process, bro. It's a process.
I feel that. So, all right. I got a few more questions before we wrap this up.
No worries.
How do you look at splits when you're working on a song with someone?
I'm a one man, I believe in one producer makes the beat.
Right.
Yeah, that's how I am. So if I'm working with with you, it's 50-50. I'm just as important as you are. You're just as valuable as I am. Without the beat, there's nothing for the lyricist to spit on. Without the lyricist, there's no one to come jump on my beat. But it has to be a marriage. This is why, without going on a tangent, this is why I took my shit. But when I saw you take your stuff down, I said, this guy's speaking my language. I took my stuff down. I closed my beat stars.
I appreciate that.
I closed it because I believe the relationship is 50-50. We're just as important as each other, right? Somewhere along the line, the artist, and because I used to be an artist, I know what the artist in me, I know what they've kind of thinking. I know what you lot are thinking. I'm not just a producer. I just ain't told nobody I used to rap. But I used to get busy. I used to freestyle. And when I mean freestyle, I mean it's all here. It's none of it is written down. Like, I've done. But obviously I've stopped, so I don't do it as much. But I still have the mindset. So it's always, to me, it's 50-50. You know what I mean? It's like collaborations is always a part of music and it's never going to change. But what we need to do is add value to what we're doing as a producer. And I think, producers that sell, I've seen adverts that say, 50 beats for $47. It's like,
so would you rather someone buy your beat up front or give you splits?
okay, I lost you there. You have to start.
Oh, would you rather somebody buy your beats up front or give you splits, the 50% split?
That all depends on what they're doing themselves. Like, let's also remember the fact that this is a partnership, but also to a business partnership, right? So if somebody comes to me and they say they want to go 50-50 on a beat, but they have got no former music out, they ain't got no demographic that's supporting them, they ain't got no data on themselves, they don't know their numbers, they don't know their reach, and they ain't got no promo campaign or no idea, then I'm gonna want my money. Because I know my from what I've been through and what I've learned is that after you've dropped the single, it's going to disappear because you don't promote yourself, you don't push yourself, you ain't got no campaign for yourself, you ain't got no one that listens to you regularly. Like, you're not invested in yourself. So I don't know if you saw that post, like I put up, collaboration is important, yeah, but you need to collaborate with the right people. not everybody. This is another thing. This is why I took all my beats off BeatStars, because not everybody can buy my. I don't want everyone to be able to buy my beat at $40 for a unlimited license for $70. Like, I don't want that. I want to bring back the days when people were like, when an artist would get a budget and you'd have to go to the record company and say, I need to spend 3 racks, 5 racks, 6 racks on that producer because he's got what I want. And that adds value to that producer. And then when that you spent that beat on that producer, we spent that money on that producer, and you get that product back, it makes you look like you know what you're doing. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, we need to add value back to what we do. We need to add some exclusivity back to what we do. It's great everybody can make beats. It's great everybody can be creative, but it's the way we're operating is like we've watered down the game. So now everybody's trying to outsell each other, but everything's getting lesser and lesser and lesser. And then this is why you got people that are not respecting the producer or not respecting the artist. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, this is where the relationship's getting lost now. You know what I mean? Because we're just looking at each other like, what can you give me? What can I give you? So there's the networking side, the relationship side, but there's also the professional side. Because when I remember, like, you remember that back in the days, like people like Timbaland and Swiss, they were getting 250 grand for one beat, you know. But the artist was good enough to command that money from the record label because they knew the impact on what that song would do.
Right.
So if you're good at your craft and your songwriting, right, and you're good at what you do, and you know by getting with this guy, then you're serious about what you do. I found that a lot of artists, they want the product, in my opinion. They want what I've got, but they're not showing me they believe in me enough to give me what I'm worth. But yet you want me to make you look the way you want to look. You know what I mean? Like, the way my music sounds, it sounds like money, but you don't want to give me my money. But you want to take my beat to make you look like, for you to get it, make it make sense. You know what I mean? Let's talk about it. Let's negotiate. Let's work something out. You know what I mean?
So here's another one. Does it stop there for you? Like, okay, someone bought a beat, and then they gave you splits. Let's just say they bought the beat and they gave you splits. Does it stop there for you? Like, there's nothing else to do?
Like, once I get, that's cool. You know what I mean? Because I can still go and register my pro. You know what I mean? So I can get my residuals through there as well. But like I said, if the split is good, then we make the initial payment lower. You know what I mean? If the split is looking like, all right, for instance, let's just pull a number.
No. What I'm saying is, my fault to cut you off, but what I'm saying is, someone bought a beat from you, someone gave you splits, regardless of how you want to work that out, you know, percentage wise or initial base. It happened, you know, they supported it, you know, they got you. Now what? Is your work done as the producer, or like,
it depends how far they want to go, because in this day and age, this is what happens, right? You buy a beat and then the artist takes it and goes. Now I like to think that I'm a producer. I want to lock in with you, but not everybody wants to lock in.
What does that look like?
What does it look like?
Yeah.
Well, it depends what needs to be done. You know what I mean? If it's going to be a situation where you want me to, because I used to write, so I can also sit down and say, let's help co-write this, or help you arrange, or find the pocket, and then we can talk about, because that's a different thing aside from the production. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
I asked that because, you know, going back to the producer that I had, you know, a lot of the differences that we had was because he didn't want to help me promote either. You know, like he would say the same thing, you know, like, oh, you got to pay me for this, you got to pay me for that.
No.
And it's like, well, dude, you know, like, I've already, you know, paid for the beat. You know what I'm saying? Like, it would help if you can promote the song with me as well. You get what I'm saying? Like, and not only this, but like, when people hear the song again, when you hear the album, he's in the back of most of the tracks. And you can hear it's not like obnoxious or whatever. Like, it goes with the song, but it's like, now, you know, it's like, so it's like, and I
if me and you, if let's for instance, if we did a project and it was called, I would have to do this, yeah. MC Creef, 81, you know, featuring or present.
MC Reef.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sorry, MC Reef, or 81 Born and Bred presents MC Reef, and then it'll be your album, whatever. That would kind of do whatever. But if I'm in the back of these tracks as much as the music is, then I'm part of the whole birthing of what's going on as well. So yeah, it's our project. You know what I mean? In that sense, yeah, I would help promote that. You know what I mean? I would help push that. You know what I mean? I've never had a problem of helping artists that I work with promote their stuff, but I found that they are not even ready to promote their stuff. That's the oxymoron. Like this is where I'm just like, I'd rather you, if I can see that you're not serious, then just give me my money. That's why I say that. But if I can see you're serious, then we can work on a plan, because it will only benefit me to benefit you, to benefit us. You know what I mean? Like, if you're over there and I'm over here, and you've got a promotion running and I've got a promotion running, and we've agreed on putting something together and making it work, then it's gonna help both of us. You know, I'm the producer and you're the artist, but we're both getting visibility from this. So it's a no-brainer to me.
That's what I be trying to get at, you know, honestly, because, you know, like, people don't understand that, like, when you, like, forget the whole collaboration aspect, right? When you put yourself out there, that's visibility.
Yeah.
So now, when you introduce the collaboration, now when people see, oh, you're working with this person, so like this person might not even be famous, but they might know more people than you,
Your
or
fans
your
become my
party,
fans, and my fans become
right?
your fans. Yeah.
But to other people, that's like stealing.
No,
That's stealing. But
that's not.
well, only those in competition. Only those in competition,
So
because some people be in competition
Mariah,
for no reason.
so when Mariah Carey and Whitney Houston do a song together, you think they're worried about who's like? That's the label's thinking money. That's, you have to see the bigger picture and the visibility, because Mariah's fans is not Whitney's fans. Your fans are not my fans, and my fans they might not even know about you, and your people might not even know about me. But just from the coming together and making something work, we both benefit. But like I said, the people I've come across, I've had one artist upset with me. Oh, you never promoted, you never helped promote. We never spoke about promote. You just took the beat and you disappeared. I didn't even know you was recording it. You paid for it and you never told me what you wanted to do with it. You just took it. You didn't come back to me and say, I've got a plan. I've got an idea. No communication. Let's talk.
Okay, so it's all about the communication. I feel you.
You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, it's weird. I mean, at least from my aspect of it, I think it's a given in a sense. Well, again, it depends on the relationship you have with the artist. I totally agree on that. I totally agree on that. Yeah, I would say so, because the producers that I've worked with, you know, if they didn't choose to promote it, you know, it's because, like, not for nothing, I felt like it was a given because we had a good relationship and you produced the beat, you know, so it's like, what did you want the world to know you did this? Like, you know, so it's kind of weird that I'm like promoting, like, yo, hey, this person produces, and they're not even. Actually, there's a producer on the album, Vespucci. Like, I bought the beat, you know, I gave him splits. He does not promote the song at all. He doesn't even acknowledge the album. But when I look at his page, you know, because sometimes like he'll post like certain things, and you know, I'll look at it, and like a lot of things he promotes are like his accomplishments, like, you know, the people that get like the
That he's
million streams, the plaques, the people that get the, you know, he just got a I think he just got like what is it, a gold, a gold plaque or something like that. It wasn't like one of them official RIAA ones. It was like one of the, it was like one of the smaller brand ones, but it was to show that someone that he's worked with is clearly, you know, making moves.
Making numbers, yeah.
And right, you know, and for me it was just kind of weird because it's like, dude, you got like half the beats on this album. You know what I'm saying? And it's not like we didn't talk for a whole 2 years before the album came out. You get what I'm saying? It's not like I didn't come all the way to London to chop it up with you. You get what I'm saying? Like shit like this.
In that instance, I would expect there to be some cooperation on the promotion.
Right.
But if it's something like I've got BeatStars page and someone just bought my beat, then and you're not hitting me back.
Yeah, that's that. I feel you.
Then that's on you. Just that's that on my vending machine now. You just bought a beat from the vending machine and you're on your way.
I feel that. I feel that. I feel
There's no
that. Yeah, so
relationship. There's
that
no
that is a slight
relationship there. You know
difference,
what I
and
mean?
I guess that's what I was trying to paint, like so people could understand, like there is a difference, like between having a relationship and. So I'm glad you put that vending machine term in there because that
That's
makes a lot more sense for sure.
yeah. It's like a vending machine. You just come up, press your number, your snap drops at the bottom. You're out. You're gone.
Mm. I feel that. I feel that. Yeah, but nah, I think if the artist has a connection with the producer, then that's technically a given. Like, yeah, especially if you're trying to post them plaques and stuff, like
Yeah,
that's a
yeah.
given.
Come
You
on.
know, like everybody wins. Um, let's see. I have another one, I believe. Okay. So, as a producer, what would you say is your hardest challenge? With dealing with artists, like what?
With dealing with
How do I say
artists.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah, like dealing with artists in general, like because I know you mentioned before, like if an artist doesn't pop, you might feel discouraged or,
My
you know,
hardest thing with dealing with artists. It was the hardest thing, but I think I think I managed to just figure it out and put a cap on it in that sense and just draw a line in the sand. It used to be my hardest thing used to be seeing the potential in people. It
mm,
used to be, right? And as an up and coming producer, well, as a producer, when I was doing my thing, coming up, and then you're looking. They always say work with those around you. Yeah, you work with those around you, come up together, and then being in the industry I came from and the people I was around, everybody had potential, but you can't potential. I can't see the potential in you if you don't see it in yourself.
that's a fact, 100%.
So
That's yeah, automatic.
right, so as much as I know this guy is dope, this like even that you see the beat that you posted for this live, the one of me in the
Hmm.
studio, that
Yeah.
guy's got mad potential, but
Mm,
he's not consistent enough.
mm,
You understand? So
that's another thing too, consistency. That's a
so
hard
that,
one.
I keep coming across
I
talented people, but I can't get them to take it to that next level and believing in themselves and following it through because they're not either they don't see the potential enough in themselves, or they don't believe themselves enough, or they're not consistent enough. And it's something you got to be all three of them, and they fall off. Somehow people fall off.
it's the microwave
Yeah,
theory, bro. Like honestly,
yeah.
like they really do believe that if they don't see results quickly, it's not gonna work out. And I'm going on what, 12 years doing this, and I'm just now seeing like results.
Same
Like,
here, bro.
like
Like,
I'm
yeah, I
starting to
can be
see,
honest. Like,
yeah, like
yeah, I can feel you on that. Like, the last 10 years, I've been putting in work hard, and I'm at a stage now where I've got my style, I know my sound, but I also know what I'm having and what I'm not having anymore. I know
right.
what I know what I have to entertain, and I know what I don't have to entertain. I don't look for potential no more because potential is only potential. It's not something tangible that you can work on and build on. So
I feel
that's
that.
not my problem. My problem is to fulfill as much as I can do with what I'm doing, and then I put that out to the universe, and I let that attract my tribe. You know what I mean? And then
Mhm.
the rest is God. You know what I mean?
Nah, that's dope. That's dope. All right. Last one for you. So, what's it like being a producer, like creating as a producer? Like, so here's another thing. I was the context of this question. So on Threads, which is I don't know. I feel like it's a lot like Twitter. I've never gotten
Yeah.
into Twitter, but on Threads, I find myself on there scrolling a lot and checking out what people actually have to say, and some of them be making some valid points. So I can't help but actually, fire back at some of the people like, oh, okay, let's see what this is about. So sometimes people they welcome the challenge and they educate me on the stuff that I'm looking, because I don't present a threat when I challenge people.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
more like, oh, why do you feel this way, or what makes you think this, or and it like some people just fight, oh, you're an idiot if you don't know about it. It's
You
like,
don't
well,
know.
didn't
Yeah.
tell me, like,
You need
yeah,
educate.
so there was this conversation about Kanye stealing that dude's song, and I wonder if like basically how he sampled it. And but I didn't know that at first. I mean, granted, when I heard the song and I understood sampling back then, I knew it had to come from somewhere. but it doesn't say featuring this artist, on the song or anything like that. Like, there's no real. You got to really dive into the song credits to understand all of
Yeah,
that, right? So,
it's
the conversation we were getting at was, why would you sample when there's like a million and one authentic sounds that you can put together?
when they sorry, bro.
So the people, why would you sample when there's a million and one sounds you can replicate and mix together? Like, so essentially, what is like, how do you feel about like creating beats? Like, is there like a huge challenge sonically to just create something? Because it's like a lot of stuff people create is the same sounds and stuff. It's almost like there's nothing else to go off of, so they just sample because of that.
Yeah, that's because people are not. That's a tough one because music's always been to some level. It's always been some form of sampling, imitation, copying. Something always comes from somewhere. There's been the same amount of chords for the entire time that music was created, right? So
Mm-hmm.
those same chords can only get played so many different ways before you've run out of ways to play those chords and those keys. And then it's down to the voicing of those sound of the chords. So this is what makes, you got a piano playing C major, then you've got a violin playing a C major. It's the same C major, it's just played in different voices, yeah, different sounds. So when it comes to like Kanye's situation with sampling, yeah, he could have found it somewhere else. But at that time, whatever pocket he was in, that was the vibe. The loop or the sample that he had was the one that made it. But this is similar to like Timberland and Big Pimpin', right? And the
Mm.
Big Pimpin' track was from a Bollywood movie, a Bollywood, not Bollywood, Asian Bhangra song, yeah. He could have got someone to replay that. Down, 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 the Big Pimpin', yeah. But he never. He
Mm-hmm.
sampled it.
I know that, yeah.
There's a part. There's a part of it that when you're in the moment of being creative, you want to stay in that spot, yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe I'm saying maybe at that time that's the spot he was in, and he thought I've got the sample, I've got the loop, I want to build on that right now, and then I'll just get it cleared.
Mm.
When you're someone like Kanye or someone like Timberland and Jay-Z with the Big Pimpin' song, what often happens is, and sometimes the owner of these songs also knows what's going on, but before they want to raise a lawsuit and tell you to cease and desist before it's been released, what they do
Right.
is they let it fly, and they let it fly for about 2 years or a year, and then they get the sound. They get SoundScan comes back, and the SoundScan numbers are telling you you've made 100,000 over here, you made 200,000 over here. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna let that sit. And then when you come back and you go to court and you say, well, they sampled my song. It's been 2 years
Mm-hmm.
now. I want basically I want to get paid off, because the
Yeah.
artist that Kanye sampled that song off, I guarantee you Kanye's made that artist more money through his sampling
Mm-hmm.
of that song and the usage and the amount of times it gets streamed, because it's Kanye, compared to the artist that actually made the sample and made the original song. They won't tell him to take it down. They won't tell him cease and desist. They'll say I want a percentage. Same thing with Timberland and Big Pimpin' and Jay-Z's Big Pimpin'. The Asian artist, never said to take it down and pull it out. They just paid him off 1.5. Done.
I believe it.
You shut him up.
A lot of it is payola. A lot of it is just pay them off, and get out the way.
Yeah.
Um,
And the people take it because they know that song on their own merit would never make them that much money.
well, that's kind of shorthanded to say, and the reason why I bring this up again is because for someone like me, like I'm not big on producing. I do have my equipment now. And I've made 2 beats. In my 4-year stint of, like, I guess, having the equipment. Um, but I just don't have like the I'm not like huge on the driving force of like learning to produce. I'm pretty sure it's gonna change now because I'm a little bit more inspired. But I have like I've always, even as a kid, before I even knew what producing was, I've always come up with like these different sounds in my head, like and I'll hum like different tunes and stuff. I was playing the Spider-Man game. What is it? The Miles Morales one,
Okay.
and it's different from the movie. In the game, his uncle is a producer. So you have to swing around the city and collect sounds. So it's like the train
Uh,
going by. It's
okay.
like the pigeons cooing in the park. It's like the couple arguing on the street. Um, and then at the end of the game is a cassette tape with all of those sounds coming together, like making
Making a,
different.
yeah.
There's an artist Futuristic and Devon Terrell. They both for a period of time they would show like behind the scenes of how they came up with the beats. It's like them putting a kettle on the stove and waiting till it whistles,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
dropping a
yeah,
pen
yeah.
on the floor, or clacking pencils. And it's like to see them do that and to make dope ass songs, like to find the actual chord and everything to fit that. That's dope. So that's why for me it's like I think sampling is cool, but if I know you can create a whole beat, like, out of thin air, I feel like that's like the essence, the true essence of
So
producing.
that,
Because what is
so you're right. So
producing?
you're right, and that's, again, my musical ear comes from the era where there was only one shot, one take to get it right because it was going at
Mm,
8 ball. It was going on tape to tape. It was going on a reel in the studio,
yeah,
right? So you
right.
couldn't pull it back. Yeah. So when James Brown's telling his drummer to play it, he has to play the whole 3 minutes, 4 minutes, and he's got to get every bit right. Otherwise, he's getting fined. So I
Mm,
I, I picked that up from listening. So when I do make, I'm kind of, obviously I'm born in the 80s, but listen to old school, but listen to new school. So I'm smack
mhm,
bang in the middle of sampling from, like, all right, Bad Boy, when Bad Boy started, Puff Daddy started, Diddy started sampling all the old school songs and bringing them back. I was smack
mhm,
bang. That was my forefront, right? But then I also know the songs where they came from. You know what I mean? So I'm like, all right, if you're gonna sample, you got to do it. You got to do it right, and you got to do it in a way that people will respect the way you've done it, and you're
mhm,
paying homage to the song. Like, you're not just taking any. At one point there was um the whole timeline of where people were just ripping any 90s R&B song and just sampling it and sticking it in a track, and they're not even,
mhm,
all they're doing is they're just pitch shifting it. They're just making it a bit faster or a bit slower, and then they're slapping on some 808s and a hi-hat and a drum, and they're saying, yeah. And I'm thinking, you lot didn't even try to chop that up. You didn't even try to do something with it. You just took the whole song and sped it up and slapped the thing on it. You know what I mean? So
right.
I'm a purist like you. I believe, like, if you can make a whole track, I've got tracks that I've made from scratch, and I've got
Mm,
tracks that I've included samples. But what I like to do with the stuff that when I include samples is that I shouldn't tell you that, because I'll probably give my game away. But
mm,
when I'm making tunes that I use samples with, I like to layer them so much, yeah, that the sample
yeah.
that I'm using is the last thing you're gonna hear. Like, it's all the way in the
Interesting.
back. It's
Interesting.
like it's like when you're painting and you paint a base color on your
Mhm.
canvas, and then you start painting on top of your canvas again.
Everything there.
Yeah, so my sample would be the base color. That will just be
Mm,
like you just give you a little feeling, and then
mhm.
I'll color that all over, and you
I
have
feel
to
that.
listen. I don't even think YouTube Content ID could pick it out. You know what I mean? That's
Mm.
the kind of way you have to. I can't just dump a sample in there and be like, all right, take that, and an 808 with
Yeah,
a hi hat,
nah,
take that.
that
That's
I
not.
feel
Yeah,
that
that's
100%,
that's
definitely.
pop. That's microwave music.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. And like I said, some people are very creative with like the only sample. I'm not gonna say the only sampling I agree with, but the only sampling I could really, I guess, get behind, I would be video game sampling. Like if you sample something from a video game, I think that's actually pretty cool because a lot of people don't play video games, So it's not to say that you're not
But
gonna get sued from
no,
it,
but
but it's like there's a
that's
lot of
you're appealing to a different. When you do stuff like that, I think you're appealing to another demographic. It's not the musicians. It's not the you're gonna get the gamers now. Someone's gonna be like, oh, um, that's from
yeah, that's
Street Fighter, or that's from or
right, right,
Devil
right.
May that's from Devil May Cry. Oh my gosh, like obscure games that, you know what I mean? Those kind of games, like, and if you can
Yeah.
I've got friends that listen to soundtracks of computer games, like, oh,
Mm.
oh, this is the soundtrack of the latest game from
Yeah,
so and so, like some
nah,
obscure game that you never heard of. But what's that
it's
guy?
funny because I was at, sorry.
Lotus. Yeah, you know of
I
Flower Lotus?
know Lotus, yeah, like, the dude that was on Adult Swim.
Yeah, bro, he's fire. He made
Fire.
a soundtrack to animes and all stuff like that, bro.
Yo,
His
we could
sound selection.
only hear his
Dope.
beats if we stayed up past 12 o'clock. That's crazy.
Huh?
We was only able to hear his beats if we stayed up past 12 o'clock
Yeah, because you
on
have to
Adult
watch
Swim.
Adult Swim. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. Wow.
Yeah, Lotus
Wow.
is dope.
Lotus,
Yeah, and that's
yeah,
what
Lotus is definitely
Lotus is
dope.
what
Shout
made
out to
me.
Sean Freeman.
Yeah, yeah. Just you see those guys that you're mentioning, Sean. That's what made me make my 5 instrumental tapes, because everybody thought that I was, and Dilla, right? Donuts and all of that. Yeah, I used to listen to the Slum Village album, but just the instrumental version, like just
Mm-hmm.
no slum on it, but just Dilla's beats, because it's the music. Growing up listening to like jazz and all the music I'd listened to growing up, where they didn't have nobody necessarily saying anything on it. Sometimes you just
Right.
had someone just singing a melody, but they ain't saying nothing. But it's
Right.
just for you to resonate with. You understand? And if you can understand that, that's speaking. That's like musically rapping to me. That's why I kind of stopped rapping, because I felt like when I was rapping, I felt like I could only say so much. I can only use the same word so many times. I couldn't speak in another language. Maybe if I could speak in 14 different languages, I would have kept rapping. You know what I mean? But I found with music, I can musically speak through a violin, through a guitar, through a piano, through some instruments, through some synths that that I could not possibly do with my own mouth, right? But if I put them all together, it's like me having 5 conversations on one track. Now, the way I see music is that when you put a beat together, it's meant to be a marriage of all the sounds. And when you get it right, it's like a perfect conversation. And then
Makes sense.
Then you get the artist
Makes
on it,
sense.
talking in the same frequency and vibrate. He's talking about what he's talking about, and then that should match what my conversation is saying, and then we have a perfect marriage. That's why I pull my beats off BeatStars, because I'm putting out stuff and people want to talk about trap, and bitch, hold this, that. Some of my beats, they may sound like popular, like you can make a hit out of it, but that's not the energy for that track. You know what I mean? You don't need to be talking that. You need to be talking some of this, but you gotta be. I have to pull it back and be a bit more selective.
I feel that 100%. So that's actually interesting you say that too. Like, so what would you say your demographic is as far as a producer? Do you go for any one particular crowd?
No, I don't. I just make music, bro, and that's been the most liberating thing I've been able to do. Once I've realized that I make music, I don't make trap, I don't make R&B, I don't stay in one box. If you listen to any of my 5 beat tapes, if you listen to all my 5 beat tapes, you wouldn't think that one person made all of them, because it sounds like albums. You're not stuck in one style. Like I feel that. If I make an album for you, they would think that 3 different producers made that album. But I made the album, and this is why I think on BeatStars, when I started doing it, because I wasn't making one typical genre of music, one sound. I surrounded myself in the wrong company. You know what I mean? I'm making music for people that don't really get what I do. So pull back, keep doing what you're doing, and then when you come forward and you present yourself and you present your energy, I connect with people like yourself who appreciate music in its entirety.
100%, man. Like it's. I mean, shit. Like I don't know what I would do without music. Like it is weird to me because like when I see people, when I see people who just don't listen to music at all, like like they're not into music, I'm like, yo, how do you live, bro? Like what? Like I get it. You want to be. Some of these people are like purists as far as like being connected to Earth and wanting to not miss out on anything. But it's like
everything has a
I
vibration.
get that, but it's like, bro.
If you're purist,
exactly,
you should like music because everything has a vibration.
Right, you feel me? So you're right. So it'd be weird to me when I just hear that people don't like music. You know, like, and it's like, okay, well,
No,
I think also a lot of
music, no
people,
cap. Music saved my
uh,
life
I,
many times, bro.
yeah, a lot of people they place it in a box, you know. So when they hear music, they thinking what's on the radio, but they don't understand that there's a lot more music, you know. That, like you said, there's instrumentals, there's vibrations, there's mad different ways you can consume music, you know. So yeah, I'm just a lover of it all, you know. Like when I see people play instruments, when I just hear music from like a wind chime is even soothing to me, you know. So like stuff like that, yeah, I'm a huge fan of it.
Yeah,
Definitely a huge fan of it.
definitely, bro. Gotta love that healing frequency. Gotta love it.
Word, man. So yeah, man, it's been a great episode, man. I appreciate you for stopping by
Thank you
and
for
sharing your stories with
having me, my
us.
brother.
It's been dope. You provided a lot of dope, interesting pieces, you know, like some views that I don't think a lot of us were thinking about, you know. So I'm excited for the people, you know, to jump back into this one and watch it, you know, from start
Yeah,
to end for sure.
definitely, bro. I
Yeah,
appreciate having me on here and having this conversation with you, and getting a space just to share what's on my mind, because these are some of these conversations that we're having. I don't. It's not every day I talk about them. You have to find the right people to share the right conversations with, right?
exactly. Yep, 100%, 100%. Yeah, man. So I'm going to upload this video to YouTube actually within the next hour or
No
so.
doubt.
Yeah. Yep. So thanks for stopping by, man, and
Anytime.
until next time, my brother.
Okay, brother. I'm gonna see you out there, man.
Peace.
Peace.
Thank you, man. Yeah, you gotta end it.
See, I don't do this right.
It's all good. All right, guys, that's it for today's episode. Shout out to everyone that tuned in. Threw some comments in there if you like what you heard. I do have new guests every week. Next week, Wednesday, I will be having a dope poet. He throws his own open mic events. He has built his own community. And I think if you're a poem or if you just enjoy words, this is the guy for you. So tap in Wednesday. I'll be announcing it on Monday, the timing and everything. So tune in. Appreciate you guys.